Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, members of the Bensalem Veterans Advisory Board, members of the community, our police officers. Thank you so much for attending this morning. My name is Dawn Davis, and I'm the manager of community affairs for Bensalem Township. This is a project long overdue, and it all started with a phone call from someone who really cared about Brian Faunce. Mrs. Faunce and I had a lot of exchanges of emails, and there's one particular thing that she said to me that touched my heart, and I'm going to read it verbatim. Just hope I can get through it. People tell you it gets easier with time. I disagree. Every event and special occasion that we celebrate without him makes the loss that much harder. And that's so very true. So we are here today to unveil a new plaque where we have added Brian Faunce's name. He was a captain in the United States Army, and from what I've read and have been told, he was just one heck of a guy. A great friend, a great brother, a great son. With that, that's all that I would like to say right now. But at this point, I would like to bring up our Honorable Mayor, Joseph DiGirolamo.
Thank you, Dawn, and good morning to everyone, and especially to both of you that are here today and your daughters. It's been a long time, and it's hard. It's hard anytime we do anything out here. This is veterans. This building is dedicated to the veterans here in Bensalem from the time it was built. And we take our veterans very, very, very serious here in Bensalem. So today is a very special day for Judy and Richard and your two daughters here today with us. It's a special day. Brian Faunce was a captain in the United States Army. He went through school here. All his school years, Cornwell's. He went to Schaefer, graduated Bensalem High School. So his whole life was right here. Everything he learned and here he went off to Penn State, where I think he was in the ROTC and graduated as a second lieutenant from there. So very, very special. When Dawn read that quote that you said, I can't imagine as a parent how a day doesn't go by that it ever becomes easier. It's got to be impossible for that. So today we're here to honor our Brian Faunce. There was a little glitch in this, and that's what took us so long, and it shouldn't have taken this long. And thank you for telling us that it wasn't done at the time that we honored all of the other veterans that gave their lives for us. The men and women in Bucks County, they're up here on this big plaque. And we have a small plaque underneath now. I hope that we don't have to ever add any names to that plaque, but it's there in case that, God forbid, that ever happens to us here in Bensalem. On Monday, here in Bensalem, Memorial Day, and certainly all of our vets that are here and our Veterans Advisory Board and the VFW, we will honor our veterans with a parade. And we always say in here, we will never forget, ever, any one of our men and women that gave their lives for us. What I'd like to do, and I think the year was 203, when Brian gave up his life for us, as so many men and women have and continue in this country. And as we look around, how sad the world is, So our men and women are in harm's way as I'm up here speaking in the most comfortable setting you could be in a country that's peace, that has the peace. So let us not forget that on Monday, and it'll be a special day for me as I walk that parade to remember these moments out here. So what I'd like to do is have both of you come up here, Richard and Judy, and your daughters, of course. Okay, on three, guys. 1, 2, 3.
Thank everyone who was here today. Um, like the mayor said, this has been a long time coming. Brian was killed in 2003, so we're very grateful to have his name added to the honor roll. And I think Bensalem can be very proud of Brian as a hometown hero. He grew up to be a wonderful young man, and it was actually an assembly at the Schaefer Middle School that really changed his life. And that was when a guest speaker came to introduce the students to the Civil Air Patrol. And Brian became very involved in the Civil Air Patrol, and from a very young age established himself as a leader. And he continued through his, through growing up in Bensalem and then going on to Penn State. And from all accounts, he was an exceptional leader. And, he will be missed forever.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have very little to add. I would encourage you to visit our website created by Brian's sister Samantha. It's www.cptbrianfaunce.org. You'll learn a lot about Brian there.
And I do want to thank Chris Hine, because it was Chris who notified us about the honor roll, and that's really and Chris is Brian's third grade teacher from Cornwall. So I do want to acknowledge that, Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank all of you for coming today, sharing this moment with us. Thank you.
I'd like to ask our chairman of our Veterans Advisory Board to come up. Where's Joe Slimmer at? Joe, would you come up, please? Korean War veteran, would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be very brief. I'd like to welcome family, fellow veterans, police force, and everyone in attendance today. It's my privilege to say just a few words. We cannot forget the memory of these veterans that have died. It's so, so important. We continue to tell the world, tell your neighbors, tell your friends. Whenever there's a veteran affair going on, support it, come out, and wave the American flag. We live in the best country in the world. We're taking it for granted, but too many men have laid their lives down to give us this freedom and make it the best place to live. We're the envy of the world. They all want to have what we have, but we take it for granted sometimes, especially young people. We got to carry that message forward. And I served for 4 years, 51 to 55 during Korea on a carrier, and we're dying off. I'm 83. After me, the Vietnam guys will be carrying the torch. W2, we're down to a handful throughout the country today. But we have to remember their memory. Think of Okinawa, Guadalcanal, Pearl Harbor. Don't let it leave your mind. Keep it up front and do whatever you can to perpetuate. And don't forget our own people back home here. The police, the EMTs, the firemen, the local Coast Guard, all of them are protecting our lives. So we have to keep in mind up front, freedom is not free. Thank you.
We're going to continue the ceremony. We have something to dedicate here in Bensalem in a couple minutes. Before we go over there, would you all stand so we can do the Pledge of Allegiance? Well, this is another first for municipalities, one of the first municipalities to do this, and there are some businesses that do it. We have one right here in Bensalem, Texas Roadhouse. And Norm, where are you? Norm is here somewhere. Norm's all the way back there. Norm, who runs Texas Roadhouse. This is the parking space they have there, and we're urging all businesses and schools, anywhere they can, to dedicate one of these parking spaces. This is done through the Wounded Warriors, have started this for our men and women of the armed forces who have served. And we have a sign, and the signs are available. You can get them here if you want to do it. We have them. They're free. This was also dedicated. We had somebody come in and paint it, so it's not something that's going to cost anybody any money. We can all get that done, and I think it's the most important thing. All Wounded Warriors, reserved for the Wounded Warriors. Let's promote this throughout. I know for Bensalem, we want to get as many of these as we can. If you have a spot, any business, any school, any church, anywhere that'll do it, we'll make sure that we find somebody to paint it for you, and the signs are here already. So we're ready to go, and certainly it's something I think that we owe to our veterans that are wounded, and it's a great opportunity for us, again, to give back to our men and women who serve. This concludes what we're doing here today. Thank you for coming out, everybody. God bless you. Thank you. Thank our veterans, and please don't ever forget them.